If you're a woman over 40 and your energy has started to feel less predictable, I want to start with a question. Do you ever feel like you're eating well, trying to take care of yourself, maybe even working out more than you used to, basically doing everything right, and yet your energy still feels inconsistent? Like some days you feel okay, others you feel completely drained, or maybe even like wired and anxious for no clear reason. Well, most women assume this is a hormone issue, but in my clinical experience, one of the most common patterns I see in midlife women actually has nothing to do with hormones, and it's a mineral imbalance most doctors never check. And once you understand how minerals actually work in the body, a lot of symptoms that feel random suddenly start to make a lot more sense. Hey, beautiful. It's Claudine, functional health practitioner and author of Your Midlife Body Code. If you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss future videos. And if you want help understanding which system in your body may need the most support right now, whether that's blood sugar, minerals, digestion, hormones, or your nervous system, you can take my free Midlife Body Code quiz linked below. Okay, let's talk about minerals. Now, when most women think about energy, metabolism, or weight, they immediately think about things like hormones, calories, workouts, supplements. But underneath all of those systems is something even more foundational: minerals. Now, minerals are not just nutrients, they are what I like to call the little tugboats that make everything happen in the port of your body. So they help control how your cells produce energy, how your nervous system responds to your environment, right? Stressed or calm, how stable your blood sugar stays throughout the day, and how your metabolism responds to food. So, in other words, minerals help determine whether your body is responsive or resistant. And when minerals start to fall out of balance, the body often becomes less responsive in ways that feel confusing because you're still doing the same things, but your body is no longer responding the same way. Now, one of the most important systems in the body is something called the sodium-potassium pump. Every single cell in your body has one, and its job is simple but incredibly important. It helps move nutrients into the cell and get waste out of the cell. I often describe this as a little seesaw, right? Because we want it to be in balance. Sodium and potassium need to be in the right balance for that system to work properly. And when that balance is working well, nutrients can get into the cell, energy production is efficient, the nervous system is more stable, metabolism is more responsive. But when that balance becomes disrupted, the cells start to struggle. And when cells struggle, systems struggle. That's when symptoms begin to show up. So things like fatigue that doesn't make sense, anxiety or irritability, feeling wired but exhausted, having poor sleep or lighter sleep, maybe afternoon energy crashes, stubborn weight that won't respond to diet and exercise. And what's important to understand is that these symptoms are not random, they are signals. So, why does this pattern show up in driven women? Listen, I work with women who are not underperforming. They are driven, they are high achieving, they are used to pushing through and getting things done. They have spent years, often decades, operating at a high output state, balancing careers, families, responsibilities, constantly showing up. And while that level of output can be incredibly powerful, it also comes at a cost because over time, that constant demand on the system can deplete key minerals like sodium and potassium, magnesium, and B vitamins because minerals are used every time your body responds to a demand. Every time you push, every time you adapt, every time you recover, eventually the system can start to run low. And when that happens, the body becomes less resilient. That's when women often start describing themselves as wired but tired. Now, one of the most frustrating parts about mineral imbalance is that it often doesn't show up clearly on standard lab testing. So many women are told everything looks normal, but their body tells a completely different story because the issue isn't always the absolute level of a mineral in the blood. It's how those minerals are functioning inside the cell. And that's not something most standard tests are designed to evaluate. So women are left trying to solve the symptoms without understanding the underlying pattern driving them. So let's discuss how this connects to midlife symptoms. So when mineral balance is off, multiple systems are affected at the same time. Energy becomes less reliable, the nervous system becomes more reactive, sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented or less restorative, metabolism becomes less responsive to these same inputs that used to work. And this is why so many women say, my body just doesn't respond the way it used to. That's not a willpower issue. That is a physiological shift. Now, let's talk about what you actually want to know, which is what helps. So, supporting mineral imbalance is not about randomly adding a magnesium supplement and hoping for the best. That's actually one of the biggest mistakes I see because minerals don't work in isolation. They work in relationships and ratios, especially sodium and potassium. So, if you try to fix one without understanding the full picture, you can actually make things feel worse. So what does work is supporting the body in a more structured way. So number one, we start with blood sugar stability. Minerals are used every time your body has to respond to a blood sugar swing. So if you're going long stretches without eating, if you're skipping your protein or you're under fueling during the day, your body is constantly having to compensate. And that burns through your minerals quickly. This is why I recommend starting with something very simple, 20 to 30 grams of protein 3 times per day. I'll say that again, 20 to 30 grams of protein 3 times per day, right? So each of your 3 meals of the day, which hopefully you're having 3 meals, need to have at least 20 to 30 grams of protein. That alone can start to stabilize the system and reduce the constant demand on your minerals. Number 2 is supporting hydration the right way. So a lot of women are drinking water, but they're not actually hydrating at the cellular level. Without enough sodium and potassium, water doesn't get into the cell effectively. This is where something like an adrenal cocktail or an electrolyte support can make a huge difference because now you're actually helping that sodium potassium seesaw function properly. Number 3 is to reduce the constant demand on your system. So if your nervous system is constantly in this high alert state, you're using minerals all day long. This doesn't mean that you need to overhaul your entire life overnight. It means starting with small, consistent inputs that help your body feel safer. Even things like slowing down your breathing, stepping outside during the day, giving your body moments to come out of that constant go mode can start to reduce the demand. Number 4 is replenish minerals, but in the right context. This is where most people jump too quickly. They start taking random supplements without understanding what their body actually needs. But mineral patterns are individual. What one person needs can be completely different from what another person needs. This is why I often use something called a hair tissue mineral analysis, or HTMA, with my clients, because it shows us which minerals are low, which ones are high, and how they are interacting with each other. So instead of guessing, we can actually support the body in a targeted way. And number 5 is to address the bigger picture because mineral imbalance doesn't happen in isolation. It's actually connected to the blood sugar patterns, digestion and absorption, inflammation, overall load on the body. So the goal is not to just fix minerals, it's to create an environment where the body can actually hold on to them and use them. And when you start supporting your body this way, something shifts. The body becomes more responsive again. Energy becomes more stable, sleep starts to feel deeper, and metabolism often begins to respond in a way that feels like things are finally working again. So when you get your body to behave differently, often in a way that feels like things are finally working again. Now, the bottom line is this. Many of the symptoms women experience in midlife are not random. They are signals, right? Your body and mineral balance is one of the most overlooked signals in the entire conversation. So if you've been doing everything right, but your body still feels like it's not responding, there is usually a deeper pattern underneath. And this is one of the first places that I look. Now, if you want help understanding what your body may be asking for right now, whether that's blood sugar, minerals, digestion, hormones, or your nervous system, The Midlife Body Code quiz will help you see which system may need the most support first. And if you're someone who's been trying to piece this together on your own and still feels stuck, this is exactly where having the right data can make all the difference. So this is why I use tools like the hair tissue mineral analysis with my clients, because once we can actually see your patterns, how sodium, potassium, magnesium, and the rest are interacting, we can stop guessing and start supporting your body in a way that's specific to you. So you can take the quiz using the link below and make sure you're subscribed, because in upcoming videos, we'll be breaking down how to work with your body in midlife instead of fighting it. I'll see you next time.